Guide for IELTS for nurses. For nurses who are aiming to work abroad, there are certain mandatory registration standards that are required to be met before registration can be completed. There is a need for nurse applicants to take extra licensure and English competency exams to be able to practice the profession overseas. For people who want to study, work or migrate to countries where English is spoken as a first language, taking the IELTS exam is almost always mandatory. What is IELTS? The IELTS, which stands for International English Language Testing System, tests a person's proficiency with the English language in 4 bands: speaking, reading, writing and listening. It is the world's most popular high-stakes English language test. It is the test that opens doors to a world of academic and professional opportunity in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, USA and many other places around the world where English is a language in the workplace or the classroom. IELTS is accepted by more than 6,000 organizations worldwide. These include universities, immigration departments, government agencies, professional bodies and multinational companies. It is jointly owned by British Council, IDP, IELTS Australia and Cambridge English Language Assessment and offered through more than 1,000 test centres and locations in over 140 countries. Exam formats. There are 2 versions of the IELTS exam, the academic version and the general training version. The academic version is for people who want to pursue higher education in universities or other institutions or for professionals such as doctors and nurses who want to practice in a country that primarily speaks English. The general training version is for people who want to undergo training or gain work experience, or for those who are planning to migrate. Nurse applicants who want to practice the profession overseas should register for the academic version. Exam parts. The IELTS test has 4 parts: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Examinees are required to accomplish all 4 parts to receive an IELTS result. The total test time is 2 hours and 45 minutes. Listening. The listening module or the first pass of the exam has 4 sections for 40 items to be accomplished in 30 minutes. For this part of the test, examinees need to be very attentive to the conversation played on the audio device. There will be no repetition, meaning, the test takers are not allowed for second chances. Try to catch up with every item as fast as you can if you do not want to get left behind. Reading. The academic reading module or the second part of the exam has 3 sections for 40 items to be accomplished in 60 minutes. This part of the exam examines your reading comprehension skills. Examinees are given 1 hour to complete this exam. You can skim the questions first if you believe you can answer them, unless the section is unfamiliar to you. Reading and understanding at the same time is really a must because of the time constraint. Writing. The academic writing module or the third part of the exam has 2 tasks to be accomplished in 60 minutes. Here, you get to exhibit your writing skills on paper. There are 2 questions. For the first question, you should allow yourself to use at least 150 words. And for the last one, you should express your thoughts in 250 words. The second question is worth more in points than the first question. Speaking. The last part of the exam is the speaking test where you will be interviewed by a native English speaker. This one-on-one interview will last for 15 minutes. This module is delivered in such a way that it does not allow examinees to rehearse set responses beforehand. Allow yourself to relax, be comfortable, so you can respond sensibly to the interviewer. Listening, reading and writing must be completed in 1 day. The speaking test may be offered on the same day or up to a week before or after the other parts. Required passing rates. The highest score that can be obtained is 9.0 while the lowest score is 0. There is no passing or failing grade, but most institutions requiring the IELTS exam will ask for a grade of higher than 5.5. A profile score is reported for each skill. The 4 individual scores are averaged and rounded to produce an overall band score. Overall band scores and scores for each sub-test, listening, reading, writing and speaking, are reported in whole bands or half bands. Documentary requirements. Accomplished IELTS application form. Passport-size colored pictures, at least a photocopy of a valid national ID. Bring the same passport or national identity card that you entered on the IELTS application form on the day of your exam. Preparation for IELTS. Make sure you are ready. It is essential to enlighten yourself with every possible detail about the exam. The exam itself, its format, and further information on the content of the exam. Know the IELTS rules and regulations. Be knowledgeable about the IELTS rules and regulations. These are laid out in the notice to candidates, which is included with the application form. Register as soon as possible. As soon as you started reading this article, you are one step closer to applying for the exam. When you feel you are ready to take the test, you need to register with your nearest IELTS center. Follow these steps. Step 1. Locate the nearest IELTS center in your place and check the test dates to find options that suit you. Note the deadline for registering for each test date. You can also see the cost of the test at your center in local currency on the IELTS Worldwide search. Step 2. Check with your organization or on the global recognition system whether you need to sit an academic or general training test. Nurse applicants who want to practice the profession overseas should register for the academic version. Step 3. Print out the IELTS application form or ask your test center for a copy. Read the information for candidates, terms and conditions, complete the form and sign it. Please make sure you have a valid postal address and use the same name as on your passport. Applicants shall accomplish the official IELTS application form, which can be downloaded through the IELTS website. In some centers, candidates may be able to register for the test online. Please refer to the test center's website for further information. Step 4. Take a photocopy of your current passport, this must be valid and not expired. Step 5. If you want your results to be sent automatically to a university or educational institution, include the correct details in the section on the IELTS application form. Step 6. Take your application into your IELTS test center with your money. If you send it by mail, please talk to your center about the method of payment. Exam schedule. Once you have registered, the test center will confirm your IELTS test date, time and venue. Please note the speaking test can be up to 7 days before or after the test date. Exam results. Usually, the results will be available 13 days following the examination date. Other test centers issue the results via mail on the 13th day. You can go through the results online by entering your candidate number, ID number, date of birth and the date of the exam. Test centers are not permitted to give results out over the phone or by fax or email. If you are not satisfied with your score, you can file for a remark.